Okay, I can't even see myself right now, but I don't need to see myself. I don't need to see myself. I'm looking off into the distance like dopey, like dopey people do who suddenly act surprised that they're on the air, so to speak. Even my friend Livingston Taylor stares blankly into his cell phone as he starts his webcast, which is whenever he's home. He does it Tuesdays at 4 p.m. It's really great. He does it from his little house on Martha's Vineyard, not from his apartment in Boston. He's got a lovely little house. I think I'm not mistaken when I say that he built that house himself, fracked his own well, etc., etc. Jamie's here. That makes my night right there. I had a couple of little things I had to do at the last minute. But I'm going to make up for all of this discombobulation because I've got in my mind, well, this is a good way to shoot yourself in the foot right from the get-go. It's a good way to jinx yourself. But I think this is going to be my best show. I've got a couple of stories for you. One of them rates as probably my all-time greatest story. And Jamie Flynn and Alan LaBeouf are involved, and in a way, I think John Corbo was the keyboard player on that particular gig that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to save that for a moment, and I'm still jockeying things around here. Alan and I are playing the Watchung Art Center. Alan LaBeouf and I are playing the Watchung Art Center November 18th, Saturday. It's going to be called Family and Friends, and some of his family is going to sing. Some of my family, Eli, might sing and play a little percussion. And hopefully, although I realize he might get booked, Jamie Flynn, who's in the house, lovely Chip. That's right, chew on your fingernail while you're talking. Hang on, everybody. Another little unconventionality, so to speak, for tonight is that I might do my new song right up front here. That's how excited I am to play it for you, and then I might do it again at the end because I need practice on it. And how's that for strange? But I don't think anybody will mind hearing it twice. And by the time we get to the end of the show, you will have forgotten it anyway. Pardon me. Hang in there with me, folks. I am just doing something to make this a better experience for you. And that is I'm putting a Band-Aid over my terrible looking thumbnail. Okay, should I jump into it and play you, let me make sure that, yep, it's on. I've talked about writing here. I've talked about that magic hour. Everybody can't do. Good, thanks, Jamie. Okay. There's always something, so if anything goes haywire, that'll be all outside of my control. I got a coffee here. I recommend you grab something. My residency at Tranquility Brewery in Warminster continues. I'm doing the first 3 Fridays in October. Great place, love it. Great menu, friendly people. I highly recommend it. Although most of you, a lot of my Jersey friends anyway, can't really make it. It's a long drive from Jersey to get to Warminster. I'm going to write a dream song, I believe, soon. There's some great ones already. Like I said, I got a monumental story for you here. Talking about writing and how I turned into the writer that I am. I certainly didn't know what I was doing when I started, and I wrote probably 25 to 50 songs by the time I was 19. I wrote one song when I was 18 that got on my first record. Accidentally. It's not prodigious. I don't think I was a prodigy. I wrote a song called One-Eyed Jack. And then when I went to Lafayette College in Easton, Pennsylvania, I wrote the rest of that Three Gamblers Suite, which took a lot of time and effort, but I think was well worth it when I was in my early 20s, 19, 20, 21, around there. When I was 19, I wrote a song, Girl on the High Wire, that helped me get David Spinoza as a producer. More than helped me, he became my producer because of that song. He's told me he turned the tape off after that song. He said, that's all I have to hear, basically, is just to know the guy has one song that can really be envisioned as a record. And he did a beautiful string arrangement on it. There was 12 strings, no fake synthesizers or string pads. It was one of the most exciting sessions of my life to go into New York City and see these genius players. It's humbling, too, because you're just the guy who happens to write songs and get a record deal. But these people were all, genius, brilliant musicians and top professionals. There wasn't much time to interact. You're under the gun in a string session because they're union players. So they're booked for a 3-hour session and union scale. And then if the clock goes over by 5 minutes to the next session, you have to pay for that whole thing. So that session is another $5,000 was the case. We were paying $5,000 for those 12 strings. So we were kind of scrambling. We did strings on 4 songs, and I had suggestions for every single song. So they had to quickly write down all these things. There was no laptops, no cell phones. It was mechanical. You told the concert master, and he directed them to go to bar 42 and cross out what you have and write in the new thing. This is my new song. When you need someone to hold you at the end of the long day, just call on me and let me be the one. If you need a friend to lean on beside you all the way, just call on me and let me be the one. There's strength in numbers, it's often true, and sometimes all you need is 2. Everybody needs someone. Just call on me you're weeping at your table in the middle of the night, just call on me and let me be the one. If you need someone to talk to until the morning light, just call on me and let me be the one. From heart to heart is where to go. I'm just like you, so I would know. Everybody needs someone. Just call on me and let me be the one. How many times can you face nothing till you let another lonely soul inside? Lifted me when I was low. I'm just like you, so I would know. Everybody needs someone. Just call on me and let me be the one. Call on me and let me be the one. No, I haven't recorded this yet. And anyway, it's a long story, but I'm feuding with her. And how stupid can that possibly sound? It demands explanation, doesn't it? And yet I'm not going to explain it. But I'm having a feud with my old friend Bonnie, and I'm not going to go into the details. So I don't know if I'm ever going to send it to her. Anyway, let's leave it at that. I'm going to play a little bit of a Ray Charles number. Well, actually, we got to get back on the gigging trail. Me and Jamie Flynn and Alan LaBeouf. We got a little trio going called Sons of Jersey, and I got to warm up a little bit on this old Dan Electro. If you have perfect pitch, friends, you will notice that this guitar is tuned down a half step. That's what I wanted to hear. So Jamie and Alan and I played. Hi, John. It's good to see you too. I'm pretty settled on this song that I just played, but we'll see. Let me do a little bit of the song that we opened with, the Sons of Jersey, at the illustrious Stangl stage in Flemington, New Jersey. I wouldn't be surprised if we were invited back there, because we had a really a successful evening. And like I said, this is the song we opened with. This is a really interesting little classic from the 60s, written by Steve Stills, recorded by Buffalo Springfield. And you know, it's a miracle song because it's political and it's simultaneously not political. I might play a little guitar. Something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I've got to beware, yeah. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn, yeah. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. Time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. I'll play with my fingers a little bit. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly saying hooray for our side. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deeper into your mind, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid and step out of line, the man comes and takes you away. Everybody look what's going down, stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going, get a stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There we go. We got ourselves a little bit of Danelectro action there. I'm in E flat when I'm playing that guitar. I tuned it down a half step and have heavier strings on it. Sounds like you might be jamming along with me, so why don't I play another song on it? I got this guitar at Klein's in Lambertville after searching the world over for it. And you can search the world over for guitars now. You go out on the internet, and I found one of this exact model. This is a 2011 U2, and I found one in England. It's the only one left that I could find, and it was like $450 and $200 to ship it or something. So I said, no, I'll keep looking, but then I couldn't find it. You know, I tried and I tried, and I was down at Jeff Klein's in Lambertville. Great little store. I highly recommend it. Jeff is a great player. I'm in E flat, Jamie, E flat. And I'm going to be in E flat again here. And so I'm talking to Jeff. I was selling something else, an amp or something. And I said, I'm looking. This was one of the most bizarre, you're welcome, one of the most bizarre atmospheric guitar moments of my life. This guitar right here. And you tell me what you think of this. Have you ever had these kinds of moments? We all have. But they're few and far between sometime. And they speak of a higher power, in my opinion, because I'm looking all over the world for this exact guitar. I wanted this one, the white one with the Bell headstock. The only one that they make with the Bell headstock is the white one in 2011. So I was looking for it. And I say to Jeff as I'm about to leave, I said, Jeff, you've got my number. Do me a favor. If you ever run across one of those 2011 Danelectro U2s in white with the gold hardware and the belt, the bottle headstock, I said, give me a call, okay? And this was his answer. He said, you mean like the one that you're standing next to? I was like, what are you talking about? I looked down, and this close, an arm's length from where I was standing, this guitar was in a stand there. And I collected myself. I had another Danelectro, which I loved, a really old beat-up one, and I traded it in for this. And I've never regretted it. This is a song by Ray Charles. You know, Ray Charles played the Wells Fargo Center, and it holds 15,000 people, and that's how many tickets he sold. Ray Charles, just to remind us all what kind of power and what kind of draw Ray Charles was. That's the kind of draw he was. He sold out the Wells Fargo Center as the first concert act there. Bonnie Raitt and James Taylor together barely made it to 13,000. I don't mean that as a criticism. I'm just saying that two of those 70s genius legends couldn't sell out the Wells Fargo Center, and Ray Charles did. Let me tell you about a girl I know. She's my baby and she lives next door. Every morning when the sun comes up, she brings me coffee in my favorite cup. That's how I know. Yes, I know. Hallelujah, I just love her so, yeah. When I'm in trouble and I have no friend, I know she'll go with me until the end. Everybody asks me how I know. I smile at them and I say, she told me so. That's how I know. Yes, I know. Hallelujah, I just love her so, yeah. Now if I call her on the telephone and tell her that I'm all alone, by the time I count from 1 to 4, I hear her knocking at my door, yeah. In the evening when the sun goes down, when there is nobody else around, she kisses me and she holds me tight, tells me, Daddy, everything's alright. That's how I know, yes I know. Hallelujah, I just love her so. Guitar. If I call her on the telephone and tell her that I'm all alone, by the time I count from 1 to 4, I hear her knocking at my door. Yeah. In the evening when the sun goes down, when there's nobody else around, she kisses me and holds me tight and tells me, Daddy, it's alright. And that's how I know, yes I know. Hallelujah, I just love her so. That's how I know, yeah. Yes I know. Hallelujah, I just love her. Hey, I'm not done. I want to keep drumming. James Taylor does that song, did it in concert years ago, and then Livingston Taylor started to do it. They both do it well. But the best version, I'm sorry, Ray Charles, the best version ever is by Jerry Reed. And Jerry Reed confounds everybody by playing it in the key of F on a classical guitar, no capo. He plays it in F bar chord form on a nylon string classical, which, of course, Jerry Reed fans know that was a Baldwin acoustic guitar. And he cut away the body on his own. I don't think he even went to a guitar tech. He just cut it, a big, weird-looking cutaway that he made himself before there were even cutaway acoustic guitars. Let me tell you the first of a couple of stories. Who knows why we become who we become musically and otherwise. There invisible forces on working on us at all times. Things that happen in our youth. Did I throw down the? Yeah, I did. The PayPal tip jar, so to speak, is up there in case you're moved to contribute to keep this show on the air. Jamie, that doesn't count for you. That ignore that. Jamie Flynn is one of the greatest encouragers and supporters financially of this show, and it's greatly appreciated. I also like to thank my friend Marty, who is a faithful contributor, and I've still resisted the urge. It's more than an urge. It's a professional consideration that many people by this time would be, charging a modest pay-per-view fee, but I'm resisting that. Alan LaBeouf might come out the last Friday in October and play another duo gig from the kitchen here, and maybe we'll do that. If anything, we might have a suggested donation price for that. And then I did mention in my blurb advertising this gig that we are playing November 18th, and I already talked about it, but I'll mention it one more time. Alan and I are going back to our old stomping grounds, and that I mean that literally. The Watchung Art Center, which is in the old one-room schoolhouse building on the Watchung Circle. And I knew a guy who was a friend of my grandfather's who went to that school. It was the first school in Watchung and the Watchung area and the Watchung Mountains. Watchung is an Indian Native American word that means high hills. I didn't even appreciate it for what it was when I lived there. It took me some hindsight. But that arts center, the first time I played it, I was 23, and I walked through the woods holding my guitar from my house, which was within an eighth of a mile of the art center, and I lived behind Bess Lake, and back to my story, the way that we become who we are. My friend Tony Peticchio and I'm the least traveled musician you probably know. Jamie, how many states in the country have you been to? I'm sure more than me, but I can't recall that you ever played in Europe or outside the country, but I've only been outside the country once. When I was 16, I went to Switzerland with Tony Peticchio. Wow, okay. There you go. And one day in Switzerland, we hopped on a hydroplaning hydrofoil ship that could go as fast as a Ferrari of the waves. And we took a beautiful leisurely cruise around the perimeter of Lake Geneva. One of the best things I've ever done. And okay, there you go. And Jamie played in Spain. Okay, I had my guitar, my Guild, which is still my teaching guitar, and I brought it over on Swiss Air. They were really nice. They didn't make me put it on the baggage carousel. They let me put it in a closet on the plane. So I played in the camp that we stayed in for a while, and we were the hits of the camp. We were, everybody came running and sang Beatles songs, etc. with us. And they put us to shame, or me anyway, because they could all speak 3 languages, and I could barely get by on a couple of words of bad French. But do you know that in Switzerland they speak 3 separate languages? And not only that, if you buy a box of cereal, it's got 3 different labels on it. Yes, if you buy a tube of toothpaste, there's 3 labels in 3 different languages in Switzerland: German, French, and a kind of Italian, which is only spoken in Switzerland, I believe. So Tony and I leisurely had a lunch. We're sitting there looking out the window. The boat went up on its, whatever you call those, struts, and sped across Lake Geneva at top speed. It was exciting. You could have water skied behind it if you had skis, even though it was like a ship. But it was fast. It was a hydrofoil. And we get over there, and then it settled into the lake, and we just had a nice leisurely trip. So as we came around the perimeter, and you're down by the Alps at the end of Lake Geneva, and we came around, and we got to Montreux. Montreux, I'd love to go back there sometime. What's her name? Who lives in Montreux? I believe that Tina Turner lived in Montreux, I think, and Shania Twain has a mansion, and that's her main residence. Her main residence is Montreux, Shania Twain. And there's been a jazz festival there for years, the Montreux Jazz Festival. Now it's kind of the Montreux R&B and Jazz Festival. And so we're going around the perimeter, and we get near Montreux, and out in the lake itself is a stage. Out in the lake, off the coast of the lake. And to get to this stage, of course, you had to go by boat. And as we get nearer, I see a teenage girl. My recollection is she was wearing some kind of uniform, as if she was in a brass band, but she was playing solo trumpet. And across the open water, I'll never forget, she played this song. I'm playing it in the wrong key. But she just... That's what she played, just those single notes. And you know how I reacted to it? I was like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. No accompaniment, no improvisation. She didn't play a jazz solo or something. She just played that beautiful melody. And by the way, Julie Andrews just turned 88 yesterday, I believe. And over the years, as a film buff, can I recommend something to you? You probably won't know this anyway, but do you know that the movie Mary Poppins is just about the greatest musical movie ever? It's one of the top 5 movies ever made musically. All the songs are great. They were written by the Sherman Brothers. Is that who wrote it? Alexa, who wrote the music to Mary Poppins?
The music in Mary Poppins was composed by Irwin Kostal.
Oh, God. What? No, not even close. Alexa, who wrote the song Chim Chim Cheree?
Chim Chim Cheree by Dick Van Dyke, Julie Andrews, Karen Dotrice, and Matthew Garber was written by Richard M. Sherman and Robert B. Sherman.
Richard Sherman and Robert Sherman, the Sherman Brothers. And all the songs in it are great. I used to have them all memorized, the whole thing. Yeah, I bet there's more to that story. And that story that Jamie is hinting at is a story that's not fit for the Sunday school, as they used to say. So, that imprinted on me, and I became a kind of musical minimalist for the rest of my life and professional career. And I would rather hear Blackbird over Strawberry Fields any day. So one guitar, McCartney's Martin D28 and his foot tapping, and that's how I roll. I love it, and I have kind of looked for songs that can be performed with one guitar or just a piano or a ukulele. And maybe it's been to my detriment. Do I love Strawberry Fields? Yes, I adore it. And good for George Martin to have made such a magnificent work of art out of that. I'm working on that song with one of my guitar students. It was McCartney who played the intro to Strawberry Fields on a Mellotron. So it's... So the intro is in E on a Mellotron on the flute setting. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to... I had no plan to do this on Strawberry Fields. This is a beautiful chord, that diminished. Nothing is real and nothing you can about. Strawberry Fields forever. Living is easy with eyes closed. Misunderstanding all you see. Very hard to be someone, but it all works out. It doesn't matter much to me. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to Strawberry Fields. Nothing is real and nothing to get on about. Strawberry Fields forever. Love it. I love it. And in fact, I loved hearing John Lennon play it on a solo guitar in his bedroom. Again, there's the minimalist impulse coming out. Okay, I promised you this story, and the time is growing short. Probably the most unusual story of my life, or one of them anyway, one of the three. Jamie Flynn was there. Alan LaBeouf was there. We played a wedding. Jamie might be able to identify the venue. It was this big, opulent venue in central Jersey in Bridgewater with marble and gold and big windows. And it happened to be the county seat for the musicians union. So there was, they didn't check your union card when you came in to play a wedding, but there was a sense of officialness about it. And Jamie and Alan and I got dressed up, and I think John Corba was on that gig, and we're playing, and they gave us a salad. So we're sitting in this little alcove. They set up a table for us. It was nice of them. We didn't resent them for not giving us a full meal. We were happy to get a salad, and they thought about the musicians, said, let's get them something to eat. So we're in this little alcove out in the vestibule, kind of, and it was a hot summer day. My recollection is it was June. Jamie, is this coming back to you yet? And I looked up. I tell my son Eli to notice things in the world, and then when you notice things, act on them. And the other night I was at Giant up the hill from here, and I saw a guy's inside light on in his car, and it was hard to even discern that because he was under a street light. So it could have just been the street light reflecting inside of his car, but I looked carefully, and it was his inside light. So I went back in. I had already paid for my groceries, but I turned around. I'm illustrating the acting on it mode, and I go in, and yeah, the manner sounds right. And I go in, and this is a digression. I'll get back to the story, but I say there's a Mazda outside with the inside light on. Maybe you might want to make an announcement. The manager, a young kid, maybe 20 years old, he looks at me and he goes, "That's my car." So he goes out, turns it off. I made a friend with this manager, and his battery would have been dead at the end of his shift. It wasn't just a customer who would have come out a half an hour later and found the light on. It was a manager who at 1 a.m. would have been sitting there with a dead battery. Well, I looked up at the top of the staircase, and I saw in the lady's eyes, and I've caught fainting people 3 times, and I went, she's going to go. And I ran at top speed up to the very top of this marble staircase and caught her. And let me guarantee you, she would have killed herself if she fainted and fell down this long winding staircase. She was like 90, and she would have broken her neck. And the first thing that happens when you catch someone is, and this is what I said, I can't hold her, as I start to go down. And I notice Jamie's right behind me, Alan's right behind him. Jamie's getting her legs are all twisted beneath her. And in my mind, I remember thinking when she fell into my arms, she's dead. The phrase dead weight came into my mind. That's how she felt. There was nothing there. And I felt she is just had a heart attack or a stroke and she's dead. But we got her down to the bottom of the staircase, laid her out on the floor, and then she starts choking. And I'm like, oh no, now what's going on? And she's like this. So I ran into the office. And I dial 911. And I'm thinking, I've never done anything like this before. It was surreal. And 911, I tell them that there's a lady, dying at the manor. And they're there within minutes. So the ambulance was close by. You're in a densely populated area in central Jersey. And there they come. And they revive her. They sit her up. The whole wedding applauds. They're so relieved. And we go in to play afterwards. And It's like the most happening party of all time. They wanted us to play overtime. We're rocking out big time. By the way, footnote, I saw a young lady in emergency clothing, an EMT, and she's passing by me. She was 23, I think. And I said, so what happened to her anyway? And she says, it's 95 degrees out, and she's got long woolen underwear on under her dress. So she fainted from heat prostration. And so we rock out. I think we got OT. We got hired to play an extra hour or something. They're so relieved. And Grandma is alive, and it didn't completely become this horrifying memory for these kids who were getting married. And at the end, we're sitting out in the lobby. I'm loosening my tie, and we're like, can you believe that wedding? And a guy is walking towards us, and he says, very pointedly, who called 911? And my hand shoots up, because what am I thinking? What would you think, friends? I'm thinking $100 tip, or getting my name in the newspaper. They want to spell it right, or just a thank you. Even, the bridal party wants to thank you sincerely. That's not why he was asking, friends. I raised my hand. I was the one who called 911, and he goes, don't ever go in the office again when the safe is opened. Okay. The thought balloon over my head, which I wish I had said, but I'm sure I didn't say. I thought, okay, next time I'll let the old lady die. That's the thought that comes into your head. One of the most bizarre stories, and you also could call that story Only in New Jersey. You can call that story. Well, the time has flown by, as always. Thanks in advance for your support. If you feel like it, throws something into the tip jar there, which is a PayPal link. I opened up the show with this new song of mine, and I'm still working on some of the little details, but it's pretty well established. And it's a soul ballad, and I'm going to do it for you one more time as we close out this evening, this Tuesday evening. It's called Let Me Be the One, and thanks for listening. God bless you, and I'll see you again sometime soon, I hope. When you need someone to hold you at the end of a long day, just call on me and let me be the one. If you need a friend to lean on beside you all the way, just call on me and let me be the one. There's strength in numbers, it's often true, and sometimes all you need is two. Everybody needs someone. Just call on me and let me be the one. If you're weeping at your table in the middle of the night, just call on me and let me be the one. If you need someone to talk to until the morning light, just call on me and let me be the one. From heart to heart is where to go. I'm just like you, so you would know that everybody needs someone. Just call on me
and let me be the one. How many times can you face nothing till you let another lonely soul inside? Yeah, yeah. You lifted me when I was low. I'm just like you, so I would know. Everybody needs someone. Just call on me